Hey crafty friends, Kim from StampingImperfection.com. I'm so excited that you're here today because I have a project that's kind of new to me. I'm sort of experimenting. I'm creating a scrapbook layout today. About, I don't know, a month ago, a few weeks ago, I participated in one of the virtual online events called Scrap Happy, and it was a whole weekend of people who are very well known in the scrapbooking and card making industry, and they each did a 1 hour session. I learned so much during this session. Each one of the sessions, it was amazing, and it got me really excited about scrapbooking again. I love traditional scrapbooking. I've been doing a lot of hybrid scrapbooking with pocket pages and regular 6x8 pages for the last year or so, and I've been doing Ellie Edwards' One Little Word. Excuse me. And I'm also now creating traveler's notebooks, which I'm using for memory keeping. But now I got excited by one of the presenters. Her name was Tracy Reed, and she creates digital products that you can download and print out, or you can just use them digitally to create digital layouts, and then you can print out the whole layout with the picture and everything. But here you can see some of the things I printed. Like a couple of those were freebies she gave us that weekend. But this is from a collection, excuse me, I'm so sorry, called Indoorsy. Although I think the blue and the little word sentiment strips are from the freebie set or from her Sunshine collection, but most of these are from Indoorsy, and I wanted to print them out, cut them with my brother's scan and cut, and then create a traditional 12 by 12 page with them because I love them. I love the colors, I love the age look, I just love the mixed media look of that one background page that I picked. And I love that you can manipulate the images so you can create the sizes that you need. And, you can have fun with it. Like you can make things bigger or smaller. And I did that. Like I made this particular page larger. So I love that paper right there. Now I printed all of these on my inkjet printer on my regular Nina cardstock because I have not yet gotten the cardstock that she recommended for printing these on. It was a little bit shinier and really actually quite nice. But I did purchase 2 of her collections, and I got a ridiculous amount of stuff for like $10. So I'm excited about it. I want to try this stuff out. I'm not going to make digital layouts because I love making traditional pages, and I'm going to use some of this stuff in my pocket notebooks, my traveler's notebooks, and my pocket memory keeping journals. So one of the things, I was having a little trouble die cutting these out on my brother's Scan and Cut, but someone had told me that if you just use a pencil and go around the outside, it'll just recognize that and cut around that. So that's what I'm doing here. And I did that. Then I erased the pencil line and I got quite a few nice things. I still had a few snafus. Like I ended up pulling out a lace doily in my stash because the one that I had printed, really it cut out everything and it was a mess. So next time I'll fussy cut that. But that is the Pentel eraser that I use to condition my stamps. I use it to erase everything. Those are the best erasers on the planet. But I've got everything all cut out and all ready to go. Now this little piece actually had a toothpick in the image. So that didn't cut out well. I'll put a real toothpick there. And that's a border piece that I cut out. And here's the picture that I'm going to scrap. Since it's about, I have to talk about an heirloom, I have a number of needlepoint art pieces, that's what they are to me, that are hanging in my house from my husband's grandmother. She gave me a whole bunch of them, and then my mother-in-law gave me some more after she passed away. So I have a number of these that will eventually go to my children. So I'm pulling out some stuff from my stash to supplement the things that I printed because I want to add some stuff to this and I want it to look like a regular scrapbook page. So I pulled out some washi tape and some hearts from the Ellie Edwards kit, and I'm pulling out some fibers. I'm having so much fun with these fibers. I actually got these fibers for free from the Sweet Sentiment Shop, I think it's called. And I am loving adding fibers to my projects. So that's one of the things I'm definitely going to add because, I'm talking about an heirloom. So I pulled out some buttons that coordinated with the colors in the page. Like, I love the colors in these papers. Love, love, love. And I love that that bottom paper looks like a mixed media project. Like this stuff just so inspired me to create a really fun page. And I loved creating this. It's just a mixture of things that I printed. I'm going to actually make my own mixed media background to put all this on. So I'm just going to put this pile aside because I'm going to make a mess for a few minutes. And I'm going to start with Vicki Boutin's mixed media foundations paper. So I've got a piece of acetate here that I got with when I purchased a couple of Vicki Boutin stencil brushes. And I'm going to use it. I'm squishing on, I believe that's Fire Brick, that color. I picked some colors that I thought would coordinate with the background papers from the digital collection that I printed. So I'm using Firebrick. This is the smush technique or the kiss technique or whatever you want to call it. It's got so many different names. And I just squish the ink pad onto the acetate. Pardon me, I'm reaching for my heat tool here. I squish the ink pad on, spritz it with some water from my distress sprayer, use a paintbrush, and I heat set that gently because I did not want the paper to warp. This is mixed media paper, so it can take a lot of liquid, but I need to take a picture of this for my challenge, so that has to be done tonight. So the next color I'm adding is Rusty Hinge. These are colors that I never used to pull out, but I did a project last Friday or 2 Fridays ago, I don't even remember, recently with Vicki Boutin, and we were using some unusual colors, and I thought, why am I not using these colors? They are fantastic. So here is one color that I do pull out all the time, and that is the Chipped Sapphire. I love this. I thought that went well with the dark blue on the papers. There were just so many just pretty colors, like jewel tone colors, really, and everything felt so distressed, and the background paper just looked like mixed media. So I'm just blotting up the excess. I just want a hint of those colors on the back. And now I'm using peacock feathers, which is another one of my go-to. And I'm also creating splatters because that background paper piece that I printed looks like it's got splatters all over it. I love it, love it, love it. It's a gorgeous page. So this is the peacock feathers. So I'm just adding this, and I'm trying to add it to both sides of the paper because I already know how I want to lay out the papers. And I know they're going to kind of go together toward the left, but there will be a little bit of my foundations page showing on the left side and more of it showing on the right side. So I'm just going to hit this with my heat tool, and I hit below and above, and then I'll sop up whatever is still not dry. And I really love this. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think this is beautiful. Like I've been doing so much mixed media lately, and I love creating backgrounds like this because now I can build my page on it. I've already put the 2 pages together, and you can see that background page, just fantastic. So that's how I want to put it down. And I got a whole folder full of 2 folders full of different paper choices out of this collection, and I really cannot believe all the stuff that I printed a very small portion of it. So the smaller striped paper is a 6x6 size, so that's kind of perfect. I pulled a piece of cherry red cardstock out of my stash and just cut for a little frame around the picture. and again, the lace doily is from my stash, but there's a nice lace doily in the collection. Next time I'll print it and just fussy cut around the edges of that myself, because I really liked the one in the collection. There were some border pieces too. This one looks a little bit like lace, and it's sort of scalloped. It's really pretty. It's hard to see in the video and in the photos, but I really like that. And I'm realizing that, oops, I got 3 of those, and I wanted it up farther on the corner, so I'll move that in a minute. But I like the way the papers fit together. And I did adjust the size of that top picture, or the background paper the one that looks like mixed media. I did elongate that a little bit. That's what I love about digital images. 2 things I love, 3 things. They hardly take up any storage space because they're on your computer. I don't have to figure out how to organize it. I can just put it in a digital folder, mark Tracy Reed, and every time I buy something from her shop, it'll go in that folder. And I love that I can download them instantly, print them, and use them as soon as I see them. I don't have to wait forever for it to get here, because I can't go to. We have one craft store that's 45 minutes from my house, and it isn't that great. So I order things online, and then it takes forever to get here, and then you've forgotten what project you wanted a lot of times. So I'm going to play with these 3 die cut flower clusters and put them around that bottom corner. And I really loved the flowers because the photo is about the flowers. And notice that I put the heart. The heart has a really nice little stitching detail around the edge. I really liked that detail. And I love that, like that red tab. There were all different colors of tabs in there. Tabs, tags, you name it. Like all of this stuff that I'm working with right now is stuff that I printed. And it's like nothing compared to what is in that kit. Like, it's unbelievable, all the stuff that you get that you can just print out on paper. And I do print it on cardstock because then it's a nicer weight. I'm just going to tuck another little piece of lace doily that I had in my stash. Why did I save that little piece? I don't know. It's been in my stash for like 10 years, but I'm using it today. There we go. I love that I'm able to take this new stuff that didn't cost me very much, and that I love. This stuff so inspired me to create this layout. And I can mix it with old stuff that I have had in my stash forever, and I can mix it with that mixed media background that I created myself. So like this is a super fun page to me. I know that I've shared how much I love using digital images on my blog, but I don't know if I've ever shared that on any of my YouTube videos. But I've been using them for a few months now to do the Copic coloring stuff, actually for a few years actually, but more so now, like I'm purchasing them, and I'm just really enjoying them. And it's fun to discover somebody who makes like beautiful scrapbooking stuff that I can use to create. I printed out extra stuff because I'm going to create a pocket page with this stuff, and I actually have a couple of the 3x4 cards I like so much. I think I'm going to make a beautiful card background and make a card out of a couple of them, because I just love the sentiments she put on them. They're so perfect for the chaos in the world right now. So I re-added a real toothpick to that, since my brother cut the other one off. I'm just learning my brother cut, so I have a ways to go with that, but I am kind of glad it cut it off because I actually like having that. And you noticed that I used that Rusty Hinge Distress Oxide to darken that toothpick a little bit, because I thought it looked better that way. So now I'm pulling out some other stuff from my stash because I'm wishing I'd printed more things, but I have all these tickets. I just retired from teaching, so this is something that I used to use in my classroom, and I have big rolls of these things left, and I'm pulling out one of them, and I love this particular color. I think it works well with the Indoorsy collection. It's got a red line around it. I'm trying to get the keep this showing because this page is about memory keeping, or it's about not memory keeping, but family heirlooms, things that you keep that are passed down from generation to generation. So I want the word keep in there, but I don't want to cover up that heart because I love that heart. I love the shape of it. I love that stitch detail around the edge. I just really like it. So I fussed with this for a while, and I fussed with that toothpick for a while too. I should have found a better way to glue that down. So I've got that all set. I'm working on 2 clusters, and that's all I'm going to put. But I'm going to add some buttons in, and I'm just going to glue these down with my regular multimedia glue. And I love these buttons. Again, I have 2 huge jars of buttons that I've collected over the years. Stampin' Up! Used to sell them all the time. These are old Stampin' Up! Buttons. Folks, how long ago I've been out of Stampin' Up! For a while, and I've been collecting their buttons since 2012. But they look so pretty on a shelf. Now they look pretty in my scrapbook because I think they work on this page. And this is my element of using different sizes of something. So that was the technique prompt this morning. So I have different size buttons on my page. And I like that she's got little sentiment strips because I love using the sentiment strips. This says enjoying all the little moments. And I'm just going to add some adhesive on the back of those and put those down. I love sentiment strips. And I'm going to pull out some, I've got that fiber sitting there I'm going to use, and I'm going to pull out some Tim Holtz sentiments. I've got one that said, I forget what it said at the beginning. I cut off a couple of words. The one I'm putting on the bottom says a record of the past, and then I'm putting 2 on that label that said pass between them, and I cut the first 2 words off, and then it says a memory to hold, because I can't remember what the first 2 words were, but I wanted the words passed between them. So I pulled out a thicker that says remember. That seemed very perfect for this page, and I just wadded up the last bit of, I love that fiber right there. It's like something a bird would take to build their nest with. So I'm just going to scrapbook or journal here, a little journal about, that this was made by my husband's grandmother, and she gave it to me because she wanted me to have it, and she wanted me to pass this down to my children one day. So I'm going to put that, and that was another piece that I printed, and I know I just wrote super crooked on there. I don't know why, but I'm gonna use those 3 foam dots to pop that up, and I did put foam dots behind a lot of those pieces so that it added more dimension to my page. Like I put foam dots behind the top of the heart, behind the label, behind the big flowers, but not the leaves, so that, I've got some dimension. I really wanted to fit this on the page because I really thought that would make a great place to add a tag to add more journaling. But that's going to complete my page. Isn't that fun? I took digital things that I could print. I bought them yesterday. I printed them today. I made my mixed media background, and I pulled out a whole bunch of stuff from my stash that, and this page was very inexpensive because I used the digital products. So I love this. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it inspires you to give digital stuff a try. Please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell. I'll put the links to Tracy Reed below. Make sure you stop by my blog at StampingImperfection.com and sign up for my newsletter, DIY Paper Crafters Weekly. Thank you so much for watching.